Hi everyone, it's Friday morning, so time to answer some questions that I've seen across our social media channels this week. And you guys are some good ones again for me. You're keeping me on my toes, I like it. Okay, I've got 4 questions. How often do we nail trim the herd? How long does it take? How wide are the platforms in the shed? Do I keep all the guinea pigs that end up coming into my care? And how did I stop the bullying that I talked about on the last couple of videos? So let's get into it. Nail trimming. It's a pants job. Nobody enjoys it. Oh, it is that job that makes me think, why do I have this many guinea pigs? I hate it. Anyway, it is an important part of their care and something that absolutely needs doing. Now, we nail trim the herd kind of every 8 weeks. And the reason that we can have that period of time in between nail trims is because we have grip tape on the ramps that are in the setup. Now, not all of the pigs use the ramp, so you have to keep an eye on the pigs that are a bit lazy and don't tend to use them, or the old age pigs that don't tend to go up and down too much due to aches and pains. So when we do nail trims, we do ivermectin at the same time as a precaution, so all of the pigs are up to date with their ivermectin and their nail trims, although the nail trims are due again in a few weeks, which is but I'll show you what's on the ramps. Okay, so on the ramps we have grip tape. Now you can get this from Amazon. It is basically what they put on skateboards, and it is firm enough that it's going to help keep their nails in good condition, but it's not so hard that it's going to hurt their feet. So we've used this for a few years, and this is the reason why we can go slightly longer between nail trim times, apart from, as I mentioned earlier, the pigs that are a bit reluctant to use the ramps and the old age pigs. But yeah, if your piggies are struggling to use the ramps, get some of that grip tape. My next question I need to be at here as well, and that is, how wide are the platforms? Now, the platforms cause a lot of problems in the guinea pig world because the first reaction of them tends to be, oh, you know, you can't have guinea pigs high up. Guinea pigs are very clever. You know, if they start out on the floor and let themselves work their way up, you've seen on live videos when we come out here and they're hanging over the edges, you know they're high up, they're not daft. But to maximise the space that they have, if you're going to go up in a setup, you have to come out. There is no point in having very narrow platforms because you're not going to gain the floor space, and Mr. Mason took this into consideration when he built this shed. So I'm going to get him to show you how wide they are and all that palaver. Mr. Mason, can we have your trusty tape measure, please?
Yes, it just so happened this is my favourite one, and I knew this was going to happen at some point.
Can we know how wide the platforms are?
We can, yes. We can measure it just like this. Platforms are 33 inches wide, or 85 centimetres.
85 centimetres, so that is 0.85
of a
metres.
Yes.
Right, okay. So each platform
is exactly the same.
Yeah.
They're all the same, and obviously they're all interlinked, as you've seen before on previous videos, which makes everything wider than me.
I should hope so.
Well, it's about 10 foot.
10 foot across, yeah.
Yeah, it's a 10 foot by 20 foot shed, so you lose a little bit for the thickness of the walls, absolutely, but it's 10 foot, give or take a few inches.
Yeah.
All right.
Big space.
And they're about 20 foot down, so just shy of 6 metres.
Yep. Good job. Thank you. Back up my chair. Okay, do I keep all the guinea pigs that come into our care? No. And the reason being, one, I don't have a huge amount of space. I am limited in what I can keep when it comes to pigs that go outside in the herd. And if we do rescues of boys, I have to be careful of the number of neutered males that I put outside in my herd, not to upset the balance. I have talked about this on previous videos. Now, if I do keep pigs that come in, like for example, if I've promised somebody that I would keep their pigs as a rehoming, then they will obviously go out in the herd. If it comes to rescues, I tend to keep the females, if it's a rescue of an overbreeding situation, I tend to keep the mums because I don't want them to ever have to worry about anything in life again. And that's just me being a big softie. Do I keep the babies? Sometimes I keep some babies, but a lot of the time I do end up rehoming the babies, because the way I see it is they will always have a good life if I choose, you know, a good family who are dedicated and love guinea pigs. And, you know, I've met some wonderful people over the years who have still got some of our rescue pigs. I know those pigs are never going to have to worry about anything, and they haven't had the start in life that their mum has had. So does that make sense? I want to keep the mums because I just want them to be happy. But it's not possible to keep every pig that comes into our care. Space is a big thing. Okay, so the final question, how did I stop the bullying? And first of all, I just want to say, I am so sorry to hear that so many of you suffer in respects to being bullied by people, whether it be at school or online. It is something that I wish we could eradicate from the world, but unfortunately it's just too easy for people to do, and it does have a long-lasting impact. But I can tell you from experience, and please believe me, because I understand how it feels to be stuck in that position of thinking that you're going to be sad for the rest of your life. You do get stronger. You do get stronger, and it doesn't have the same impact on you as it once did. I remember times where I would just spend all of the time crying. Every time an email came in, I would cry. Every time a comment came in, I would cry. And it gets you immensely stressed and very, very unhappy. And it makes me sad that there are people out there that feel like that, because it shouldn't be that way, but I appreciate that it is. But you're stronger than you give yourself credit for. Okay, so you keep going. You don't let anyone tell you what you can and cannot do, and you will get stronger. In terms of how did I stop it, I actually didn't. The main ringleader got caught out. I don't want to go into a huge amount of detail, but she slipped up, and we had kind of known for a long time who was causing the problem. We couldn't prove it, but we kind of knew where it was coming from. And there was a documentary that was released on guinea pigs on Netflix last year. It was called The Keepers of Pigs, and it featured this person. And on Instagram, the documentary was not very well received. It got quite a lot of negative feedback, and me being a guinea pig person, there were obviously people telling me about it, asking me for my opinion on it, and I ignored it, and I was like, oh god, I'm not gonna be able to ignore this. So I made a very brief video giving a very basic opinion on it, without trying to go into, you know, the reason why it caused me a lot of pain. And one of my followers just so happened to comment on Instagram saying that she didn't like the documentary. She didn't think it was particularly well done, or, you know, it could have been better. And this said person private messaged this individual and called her a common tart. It's not a phrase that you hear too often anymore. And this person just so happened to come onto my video and say, cool, I've just had a message from the owner of this rescue who was in this documentary calling me a common tart. And I was like, oh god. I kid you not, within a couple of minutes, I then got an abusive email referring to me as a common tart. And like, bearing in mind at this point, I was getting anywhere from 20 to 40 emails of abuse a day. So emails weren't, you know, they were just, I was used to it. But I thought, oh, bloody hell, she called me a common tart as well, this person. So I just so happened to share it in that video to the person who'd commented to me saying, you know, she'd been called this. And it must have been seen by the people that were involved in all of the bullying towards me, because everything stopped dead in its tracks. And I never heard another thing. And it's been 6 months. So it just cemented in my head that that's who it was. And look, I'm actually grateful, as silly as that sounds. I am grateful for what they put me through, because it has made me a stronger person. Comments now about my appearance, I get them all the time, about my glasses or my hair, or, you know, how I am with the guinea pigs, that I'm a bit goofy. You know, I just don't care anymore. And that's why in a weird way, I am very grateful for what those people put me through, because it has made me a better person, and I promise you that you get there too. But it's also okay to be sad, and it's okay to talk about it. And yeah, it's I feel so sorry for people that are still going through it. But yeah, I didn't stop it. They made a mistake, and they'll always happen. Bullies will always get caught out in the end, no matter how long it takes. And for me, it took over 6 years, but it happened. Anyway, that's enough. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.